Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host, the birthday girl, Patricia Kirkman. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, darling. You're so sweet to remind me.
Well, think of the alternative, right? It's congratulations, happy birthday.
That beats looking at the grass from underneath, right?
That's right. That's right. It's wonderful. Another happy year, and we wish you all the best for this year coming
thank you,
up.
darling.
Yes,
and
all the best.
The weather is absolutely gorgeous here. It's a cool fall day, crisp, nice breeze in the air. I almost feel like I'm back in the East Coast.
Yes, it sounds like,
good.
Yes, I wish you were. I wish you were here with us. We'd have a nice cake for you. I can guarantee you that. So we do not have a nice day. We had a very strange, crazy rain, and now tonight we have a hard frost. It's going down to 28 degrees, yeah.
Well, that's a little early, isn't it?
It is, and I had to pull in all my plants. It was just a nightmare. So anyways, they're all inside. Fun. They're all in. They're all protected. So anyhow, but it's always a big job. So it's behind me now. Now I just have to reorganize them and make them happy in their new interior environment. But yeah, I wish we had the usual nice days that we have this time of year, but it's getting chilly awfully fast.
Yeah.
So
everything's a little crazy. It's like everything's off step a little bit.
You know, it really is. I'm so glad you said that because I was feeling that today, and I really wanted to make sure we talk about that with the numbers because I know you're always looking at that to help us anticipate what's coming up. So what are you seeing for us? I know you've mentioned a lot about possible disclosures of all kinds. And
I just can't get over all the things that are bouncing around us right now. Different ones are taking a look at different comedians that are thinking they're being so funny. You know, bottom line is whether you like a president or not, to do shows that are degrading to his wife and put her up there as if she's a harlot is, unacceptable. Forget it.
It's despicable. I agree. Despicable.
I saw some of them today, and I'm going, oh, my God.
And
she hasn't done anything to anybody. She looks very nice. She's very poised. She's doing what she needs to do. And how dare these people pull that crap out? I think it's disgusting.
I agree. It is. It's really a shame because she's a human being, and we need to be respectful of each other, period. Yeah. This is a nonsense thing that they're doing.
Of course,
crazy.
Could never put out one of those shows for Hillary because she... Anyway, there's too many things going on. There's a lot of communication going on behind the scenes. Gossip is running rampant. This month is all about sharing conversations, sharing information, but they're sharing the wrong stuff. They're getting things set up so that as it progresses, like today, we're going to hear something about something that has come down today or tonight because it's a 3-day and, it's a 27-9 day, actually is what it is. But we are in the 3-month. And the 9 deals with endings of old things. And I think some of the shows have been showing bits and pieces and blips of different things. And they're not even playing nice. They're talking, it's degrading women, period. it's degrading of the man that's out there doing a good job. So we know we've got sleaze buckets going somewhere between here and there, but why put everybody in that same kettle? Doesn't make good sense.
Yeah. Well, it's really just to serve an agenda, and that's too bad. But what are you thinking, too, about, now there were a lot of sightings, to jump into the paranormal news here. China and France had a lot of unusual sightings in the skies, things that could not be explained, and it's on our website. It's on our Facebook page. Make sure you go there. And you can read all about the things that have been cited. And these are unexplained phenomenon. So take a look because, again, we're seeing more things in the sky than ever before. So what are you thinking now about
There's something
information
else going
coming
on.
out?
There's information going on behind the scenes. And some of the, I'm just going to use the word, maybe... I could say chemical, but it's not chemical. It could be things that are being let loose or turned loose or whatever that are having more of an effect on our weather in what's happening than the government wants us to know.
Okay.
Because some of these things that are happening right now have had a boost from a very negative source.
Ooh.
Just think about how some of these things have been hitting us. It'll come out, but I'm afraid it's by the time it comes out, we're all going to be worn out from the lies and the deception that are going on. There's information out there that could be shared, but nobody wants to be the guy that opens their mouth and gets a foot you know where.
Yeah, exactly.
Because too many things are happening right now. The things that are going out that we're seeing are only a scratch of what's really going on. That's the scary part.
That is the scary part. And again, with all these sightings taking place around the world, it just seems to me that the messages are coming through loud and clear. And hopefully, eventually, we're going to find out one way or another. Now, we know, and our audience knows also, that these extraterrestrial and interdimensional experiences are real. So the government can deny it all they want, but we know the truth about that. What we don't know are the details. And so it would be great if one way or another we could get the details, whether we get it from the interdimensionals and the ETs themselves or, if the government decides to come clean, which is highly unlikely.
That'll be the day.
So I think we have a better chance with the ETs and the interdimensionals.
Well, some of the things that I've been told that it's looking at some of the actions that are being created and made known only by the tip of, but take a look at all the things that are happening weather-wise, information that's starting to flow, but it's like they've just shaved a little piece off for us. In essence, give them a little bits and pieces, and then they'll sit back and be quiet for a while while we try to digest it. But they're manipulating everything around us, our weather, these crises that we've been going through. Take a look at how much has been manipulated by outer sources. These things that are happening have had a boost from something other than just God's stuff.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So there's all kinds of strange things happening. We're all for the truth. We want to know what is really going on, and hopefully some of that will come out. But certainly there's been a lot of soft disclosure. You know, I see Fox News all the time putting out a story here, a story there about old UFO sightings or whatever. So it's like they're trying to kind of put these breadcrumbs out, as you call it, on the path. But listen, we already know this stuff is the real deal. So anyhow, so take a look at the Facebook
breadcrumbs
page.
might become raisins. Just sweeten it up a bit.
Hey, give us the whole ball of wax here. We want the whole thing. But I wanted to mention also, again, on our Facebook page, we've got a great video there everybody should watch about speaking to water. It's by a Native American, and she has a wonderful experience to share. It's very powerful. So please go to our Facebook page. Make sure you give us a like and follow us there for more exciting videos. And we also have a couple of new things going on. I know you're doing your classes for numerology and also your private session. So if anybody would like a private session to know what's coming up for you personally, make sure you schedule with Patricia Kirkman. You can do that at patriciakirkman.com. You can also reach PK on our website, supernaturalgirls.com. And I'm
remember,
starting to
with the holidays coming, what Patricia does and what I put out make great gifts, excellent gifts that you can't duplicate in any other way. And Patricia, tell them about your new products, what you're doing.
Yes. This is really exciting. I just finished my training with Andrea Hess on soul realignment. It's a very powerful form of work. Now, you know I was a therapist for many, many years and a dream analyst as well, but this is in addition to everything else I've learned. And the soul realignment concept is fabulous. It works extremely quickly, very, very thoroughly. And right now I'm offering an introductory special for everybody in the Supernatural Girls audience. So feel free to contact me. I will give you all the details about it. It's a very, very successful experience for you to transform. And you really don't have to do much at all. It's the magic pill. In my mind, this is the closest thing to a magic pill. Yes. So anyways, we've got an exciting guest tonight. We've been really looking forward to having him back on the air because he is the best physical medium in the world. There is no one else that can come close to Kai Muegge. He is a physical medium from Germany. He's joining us tonight. It's very late at night over there in Germany, so we want to thank Kai for giving us his time. But this is a very unusual form of mediumship, and it is extremely powerful. So I'm not even going to talk anymore. I want to get this guy on the air. So Kai, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Thank
you for having me.
Lucky to have you.
From good old Germany.
Yes, the homeland. Oh, my. Now, Kai, I know we had started a conversation with you a few months ago, and it was one of the most fascinating conversations we have ever had on the air on Supernatural Girls. So
thank you.
It's been fabulous. And we've been thinking about the things you've said, but we want to continue this because being a physical medium is very different from being a psychic medium. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about the difference between the two?
Yes, I would love to, of course. Basically, it is the case that the whole spiritualistic movement is actually founded on physical mediumship as well. In the very early days, the mediums were used to channel the energies I am working today with. Even the most earliest mediums, like the Fox sisters, for example, look into the reports of the Livermore sittings, for example, that Kate Fox was giving. Very, very strong physical mediumship sessions. But on the path of the development of spiritualism in America as in Europe, a specific form of mediumship, specifically survivalism, was in every mouth. Everybody wanted to see proof that the world of the deceased is actually a part of the spirit world, that in the spirit world people who had died are still existing, that they can give the messages, and they still do that, and even in our sessions they do it, but it happened that mediumship was not anymore evaluated as long as you were not giving a proof or a proof-like message from the spirit world of the deceased. So mediumship became very much related or exclusively related to messages. And, you know, in physical mediumship, what is usually a message from a spiritualistic medium to the audience is in physical mediumship a touch or a fine and a tender caressing through the hair, or you feel a kiss in the neck or something like that. So that's a good way to translate between classical spiritualistic mediumship and what we are doing in the physical. So it was from the beginning on part of the spiritualistic movement, but a section of basically the spiritualists themselves were retreating, or were not wanting anymore the physical forms of mediumship, where they were afraid that the physical was holding the supernatural in the physical realm. They more wanted to have the higher messages and the messages about proof of survival, and so physical mediumship more and more declined a little bit, at least in the public view. Behind the scenes, physical mediumship all the time since 1850 or 1848, when spiritualism started in the Western Hemisphere, spiritualism physical mediumship behind the scenes was always alive and active.
So it never stopped. It just continued to grow and become more powerful. And the things that you've been able to accomplish are quite remarkable. We looked at the photographs of the apports that you have brought through, and they're significant. I mean, they're not small. A lot of them are quite large. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is something that I think people are trying to wrap their minds around. It's like, how does this happen? Because you are not only just communicating with the spirit world, but you're actually bringing objects through from one dimension to another. So
indeed, Patricia.
Let me ask you this. Are all of these objects, Kai, coming through you, are they from just the spirit realm, or do they come from other realms where other beings may live, other places in the multiverse, or, where interdimensional beings live? Or is this the spirit world only that you work with?
No, definitely not. At least on the gatekeeper plane, we have ancient entities who overlook this form of interdimensional communication that we are doing. And actually, we have been explained by the spirit communicators a totally different understanding of the afterlife, or of reality, and how reality and consciousness is actually sorted out. So indeed, most different forms of entities are involved here. But basically, we discern, regarding the objects that come through, we discern between objects that had existed beforehand here on Earth. These are the so-called apports. And the spirits claim that these are objects that have gone forgotten, that they have once been in the possession of somebody, and maybe that somebody had died somewhere and nobody else was remembering these objects. And they claim that the moment nobody remembers an object anymore, that such an object is falling out of the reality scheme we are usually living in, or out of the three-dimensional reality scheme. So nobody is remembering them anymore. They can be easily skimmed off, and taken away, so to speak, and can be easily delivered, journeying through time-space or space-time, and become delivered in our seance room. So this is the one thing, the things that are basically transported from another place or in space-time. And the other sort of objects, or the other kind of objects, are the objects that only have existed in thought form before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, and usually they take form in these crystal and glass-like artifacts that in our sessions up to 70 of such objects can become materialized. And this is how we basically discern what appears in front of the eyes of the people. It is mostly red light. People can see what is going on. And there are several ways how these things can appear. And every of these ways is very, very fascinating. One of the ways is, for example, that the supernatural beings make it happen that the objects come through the body of the medium, because they claim, and we just talked about it, they just claim that they make the body of the medium to a portal itself. And portal is a very basic word in our communication with these spirit entities. So, but back to your question, the objects that appear, one have existed beforehand on Earth, and the others are taking form from thought form into the three-dimensional.
Gosh, that's amazing. Now, for you, how often do you do these seances where apports come through? Is this a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting? How often do you do this?
I believe we can say that it happens every deep trance session, and yeah, it's hard to say, but maybe if we would like to take a middle, it is once a week, or at least once every 2 weeks.
Does it take a lot of energy from you when these take place?
Dear Patricia, it depends. It depends if the group is strong, if the group is giving much energy into it, or if they are more reluctant or maybe a little skeptical or something, then they are very much withholding. And then the bioform of the medium has to give more into the processes, and then you feel very, very drawn afterwards, and you may have strong headaches. Unfortunately, in my case, I'm anyway a headache type. So when I have to give a lot of energy, I react with headaches. But when the people are accepting their part in the seance, and they are participating with their energy and with their perception and everything, then I feel very strong after the seance. And in a whole, it is to a degree stressful, but I can tell you I had jobs in the software industry for more than 15 years. I can tell you these jobs are at least as stressful as what I am doing in the seance room, so it's very relative, of course, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Because it is a positive stress, and because it is showing the people a reality that opens so very much within them, it's still a very, very positive form of stress. And so I will try to take it. I will carry on to try to take it as best as I can.
Absolutely. Now, the people that come to the seance, is it the same group, or it's not the same group every time?
Oh, no, not at all. As you know, we are visiting friends all around the world, and we encounter people visiting our seances from all paths of life, scholars and seekers of different schools, and journalists and scientists and engineers. So very, very different people, young people, very old people. So it's really a very varied audience we have.
That's great. Now, we've had Robin Foy on the show a few times, and in Robin's group, that's one of the reasons I asked this question, he has the same people there in his core group and then they have people come and sit in that are different from the weekly group of sitters. But one of the things that he found, and I wonder if you found this too, is that during some of the sessions, people actually experienced physical healing. Have you had that happen also?
Many, many times. And I need to apologize because there was a misunderstanding. The Felix Circle, the circle I developed in, this Felix Circle was a homogeneous circle of between 9 and 12 people. 3 had to leave because of professional reasons. That circle was homogeneous for 11 years.
Oh,
and
okay.
there we had, and we had visitors like the Skull group, like Robin's group. More and more visitors came, and more visitors were inviting us then in the following to their places, and that's how that traveling business began, so to speak. And what I was talking about was the public or the semi-public seances we are giving at the moment. The Felix Circle is after 11 years, it became defunct in its weekly appearance. And we, at the moment, only have, so to speak, memory sittings with the Felix Circle on Easter, on Christmas Eve or something like that. So it's 2 or 3 times in the year. And the rest of the year we are following the mission the spirit entities were overhanding us. And the mission says, share this with as many people as you can, because it will make this informational field denser, that ones will be responsible, therefore, that we all will experience the paradigm shift we are also very much waiting for. You know?
So
I understand our session.
Keep doing this. And you have had, let me go back to my physical healing question. And I know, PK, you've got a question as well. But with the healing, can you give us an example of what kind of physical healing people experienced in your seances?
Yes, I would love to. Let me first give you 2 very strong examples. A lady in Sweden, that was one of our very first experiences when we just had started 7 or 8 years ago our traveling, my wife's and my traveling around the world, because up to that point I was somebody who only had regular jobs, and I never before had worked as a professional or semi-professional medium. It just started 7 years ago. I mean, I was holding experimental groups all my life, but I never had started to travel around the world and share it with people. That interest started after Robin's work. Robin, with his Skull group, made it possible. 1996, the Skull Report was coming out, and worldwidely in the spiritually aware scene, people were starting to become nosy what was going on here, and many experimental groups were being formed, and because we were so successful, everybody wanted to see how far can it be brought, how far can we bring that. So when we were visiting Sweden, and a day after, contacted by a lady, and she claimed, and we could verify that later, we were then over months with her in contact to see if that healing was staying, because sometimes it seems as if it is being healed and the people feel relieved for 3 or 4 days, but then it is coming back. This is unfortunately very typical. In the moment when all the emotions are aroused, even with the people around you, you are in an ecstasy of the moment. Semi-healing or pseudo-healing can happen, and you feel good 3 or 4 days, and then it comes back. So we wanted to be sure is this something that stays with the lady? And she says, and she claimed that she had a scar on her back. It was from an accident, and unfortunately that scar had mutated to something that was as big as a child's fist, and it was sitting on her spine, but even reaching into the outer. So it was a big thing she had on her spine, and it was even connected with the inner nerve connections. And she said for 20 years this thing was hindering me to do several sorts of sports or usual or normal housework and such things. And she said that in the seance, this child's fist big scar disappeared. And
oh my goodness!
After 20 years, she was enabled to do all the things. We have all the correspondence of that lady, of course, collected, and we have it here. So, and this is only one example. Or I give you another example. And this has happened in a specific session for healing. Meanwhile, that lady was in a regular seance of ours. And sometimes in these regular seances, healing is mentioned, and maybe a short episode of giving healing energies is also a part of the seance, but mostly not much more. But the whole atmosphere has a very strong healing undertone within it. So this second guy, he was visiting one of our specific healing sessions, and he had 25 years ago a motorbike accident, and he crashed with his head onto the streets, and in his skull bone fragments had reached into the brain, and for 25 years he was not anymore able to smell and taste things. This whole area of experience for him was gone. No tasting, no smelling. And he was in one of our healing sessions, only in one of them. And he immediately wrote us afterwards, I could not believe it. I was going into my car that was standing in front of your house, and I was driving to the next green area I could find. And I was stepping out of the car, and the first breath I was taking, I was for the first time smelling the green and the lush of the woods, and I smelled the trees and everything, the whole environment. And later I went into a restaurant and I was ordering a beer, and I could smell the alcohol, and the whole world was reopened for that young man. He was not so young. He's in the meantime around his 50s or something like that. In a whole, he claimed that he regained his ability to taste and smell back to 80% at least. Yes, so it was not fully back.
Fantastic.
It is.
That's
miraculous
thing. Yes,
amazing.
Yes, and in a and basically in regards to the seances, most of the people experience that healing momentum to different degrees. Maybe somebody is coming with a cold and he's leaving without the cold, or somebody was feeling slightly depressed or something, and he's getting out of the seance and he feels relieved and free. So there is a very powerful energy going on by simply invoking it, by simply summoning it. And we love that, of course.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's what it's meant to be, and that's why I love hearing stories like this, and the power that comes behind it is really fueled by love and the desire to help us here on this plane. So it's a very powerful experience. And, I have to mention, I did attend a seance here, and the physical medium was somewhere from Europe. I won't say who it was, but it was a very interesting experience, Kai, but it seemed more like a performance. I didn't have the feeling of the, what should I say? There was no healing that went on that I'm aware of. But it just felt more like it was just for show. And not that this wasn't real, and the spiritual transmissions were not real. I think they were. But I didn't get the same feeling that I get with Robin and I get with you. This real love for people and the desire to help them and to bridge the gap from one spirit world to ours. So again, this is why we say you're the best in the world. I think because you have that open-heartedness and people feel it and trust. And I think when they come to your seances, they feel it immediately. So part of healing and the healing process is beginning to trust again. So I think you give that to them.
Indeed. Yes, absolutely.
That's so important. So important.
It's very important. So it's great what you and Julia are doing and what you're offering to people around the world now that you're traveling so much. But here's another question for you. Now, I don't mean to interrupt you, PK, because I know you had a question a while back. Did you want to ask that?
No, that's okay, because part of what you asked was what I was going to ask. So
what you were thinking anyways. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. Right. So when you go into this particular mode, are you able to communicate with these spirits who are quite powerful on the other side in terms of what their goals are? Because you said they have an agenda too. They want to see us transform. They want to see us change in some way. What do they want out of this?
Patricia, the whole question was, there was an interruption. Don't know why, but please repeat the whole question.
Yeah, here's the question. You're able to communicate with the spirit world, and they want to achieve something by doing what they're doing with you and with the groups. What's their goal? What do they want to see happen from these types of seances?
Okay. First of all, it matches a little bit more if we would say spirits have found a way to communicate through me, because I do not have a direct proactive channel to them. I cannot so easily switch that connection on. I only can go into relaxative states and can hope that I am receiving a message from them, maybe for a seance that is scheduled for the evening or something like that. And then the state in which I am going, it is a total retreat from my own bioform. And in the room I retreat into, it is a visualized, a meditative, inner or outer room, a theoretical, virtual room in which I retreat. I exercise something with my body that is called automatic speaking. It is like automatic writing. And into that automatic speaking, the spirits do link in. And that's the moment I can switch myself totally off. And usually that is very early. 50 words maybe, 40 words, 50 words, 60 words of the entity, and I achieve to sleep away. And in the very same moment, more or less, I reawake. and 2 hours or 3 hours have in the meantime gone by, and all what has happened in between, I was not conscious. And my wife is the first who immediately starts to give a testimonial, so to speak, to me about the sitting. So that's the first answer, how that works. I go in a state, the spirit entities are using to people, and they claim that they sometimes call it the light hour or the bright hour, the hour where light is shining, even though it is a lot of the time dark, even though a lot of things happen in light, of course, as well. So, but they call it the bright hour, and they mention that such a bright hour as it is happening in our seance is happening all around the world, that many channels, like I am, are working all around the world to have entities of that communicating nature speak to people. And what are they speaking about? What do they want from the people, or what content?
Exactly. Yeah, what do they want?
Do they share? What they want is that the people become aware of an interdimensional hyper-connection thing, how very much we are living in a projective world. I give you an easy example they are usually giving. They say a little act of forgiveness on your side can make a whole universe free. Here in the multidimensional universes or multiverses we are living in, and there is a section we inhabit together, and this is the section where we meet together on a spiritual spiritually, so to speak. Otherwise, we could not even communicate together. So on that spiritual plane, we are communicating. This is the plane that connects these, or several of these, interdimensionally interconnected realms. And they claim that all what we are and all what we do, all what we think, every thought, every motive, even every dream of us, but also in the physical, all what we are, all what we think and do is powerfully shadowing or powerfully projecting into dimensional realities which are directly connected with our three-dimensional time-space. See the stone there on your path, lying there on the floor. You may not even spend a moment to look at it. On your plane, it may be a stone. On one of the other planes, it may be a stone-old entity or something like that. And they claim that what materialism did to us and the consume-related society and what the...
So the whole world of materialism and the whole world of looking at what we're going to buy next. I mean, all of that kind of thing. Consumerism is what you're talking about, right?
Specifically, and the exploitation, the
yes.
system of exploitation that is directly connected with our style of life. You know, this is unfortunately a basic system that enables our lifestyle, the system of exploitation. We are exploiting continents, we are exploiting natural resources, we are even exploiting human resources. And now imagine that everything what we are and do is, but of course this exploitation thing as well, or even think about, they say it became specifically grave when it started with the atom bomb tests. These tests did shake these connected worlds and did cause massive harm to them. And I mean, at these times, the UFO wave, for example, began as well, at least in the Western world, so obviously. And that also had to do that what we humans were doing was so very much involving these other worlds which are interconnected with us. And they explain it very, very finely. You know, I always have to listen into the recordings, and I rarely have the time to do that extensively. So I only try to explain what they are explaining. And they are explaining it in the seance very, very beautifully to the people. But they say something like, they say, why are we addressing you human beings? Why should we be interested in addressing you when you are causing so much harm? They say,
we're
you
troublemakers.
human beings... You are exactly not that you are not only troublemakers, but there is something else, and this has to do with the very much nature of what you are. You have been born out of love, and because they claim that consciousness is the background of all physical existence. Is that the realm of the human being and the human being itself has a potential at hand, because the human being, that is not a cliche, they always underline, the human being is a being that is born out of love. First it is emotional love, psychological love, then it is bodily love, and out of the bodily love, the human biology is actually evolving from. And from this nature of love, and they claim that love is one of the highest frequencies matter can vibrate in, and consciousness can vibrate in. And that's the reason why the human being is so very much interconnected with multidimensional reality spaces around it. For example, already, let me give you an example. The Ewa at the Togo, it is an African tribe living at the Togo. And when anthropologists were talking to them in the 20s and 30s, they already were claiming that there were 11 reality spaces in the pre-birth area, and that there are 11 reality spaces in the post-death space, so to speak. So even let's say, with all respect, primitive tribes, already they have concepts of a multidimensional interconnectedness, and they claim that we human beings are connected with the life on these 22 forms of parallel reality planes. They claim that every plane of them, of these 22, are inhabited, and that the life that is going on there is directly interconnected with the life we are leading here on Earth. So even the tribes and the tribal nations have a lot of concepts that remind us of multidimensional reality concepts we have today. So the spirits claim that we are so very much interconnected with parallel existences, and that we are very influential onto them, and they sooner or later the question is asked what the meaning of life is, and the entities ask the true meaning of life is to tune everything that you are and everything that you do back into a loving nature, that every deed, every action you do during the day, and every thought that you are thinking, and actually that is an actual Buddhistic approach, yes, that everything that you are and everything that you think, that
that will be done in the vibration of love. And when you have achieved that state, then you have achieved the most highest human state that is imaginable. And the path of the human being and what creation was basically wanting from the human being is reached. So check out everything that you are, from the first moment in the morning up to the last minute before you go to sleep, and request or question every action and every word of yours, and change it into a loving, creational, positive attitude. And simply because you have heard that concept now, you are part of an informational grid that is expanding over the planet, and the more people who hear of that concept, and the more people who are invited by these communicating spirits to take part of that interdimensional endeavor to make the human species survive its existence, to make the planet survive the human being, and finally to reach the paradigm shift. Because when more and more people change their behavior, the higher and higher the frequency of the human being will be lifted, and the paradigm shift will come into reach, because at the moment it is not in reach. And still the human species and the planet and thousands, it is not countable how many entities in a multidimensional interconnectedness are concerned by or are depending on what the human being or how the human being is living its life. This is, excuse me, ladies, it's a very deep concept, and the spirit entities explain it fabulously. Can you make sense? Could you make sense out of what?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
definitely.
That was brilliant. And it's interesting, Kai, because we're sitting here listening to you speak, and we're also hearing the spirits behind you at the same time. So
yes.
we are hearing you in a multi-dimensional way right now, and it's a real gift to us and our audience, because just listening to what you just said is transformative. It is so powerful. And we're going to take a very short commercial break so everybody can take a deep breath and let all of this settle in, of the wisdom of what you just shared among you and your spirit friends and your spirit team. And we're going to come right back. We've got a lot more questions for Kai, and we are going to get them answered, I'm sure. So everybody stay tuned. You are listening to Supernatural Girls Radio, and we will be right back.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the Source. With Cosmic Fusion, the Source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com. Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Astridian is a family of cosmetic products with 98% pure ionized minerals. We combine our science with a blend of essential oils to nourish and take care of your skin's health. How does it work? All Astridian products contain the proprietary redox technology, having the capability of simulating an ionic zinc-copper superoxide dismutase effect. This free radical scavenger currently in your body has been diminished by toxins and the daily stresses of life. It is a perfectly balanced mineral complex that all $200 an hour dermatologists, their professors, and ancient history have proven. Redox technology is a process of reducing the skin's oxidation by transferring electrons from a radical state to a stress-free normal condition. Oxidative stress is a form of cellular aging, and as science has proven, a precursor to disease. The free radical theory of aging states that organisms age because cells accumulate free radical damage over time. Damaged cells are not beautiful, but healthy cells are. The Astridian family is presented in 4 different uses that cover unique benefits to your body. They are the Essential Anti-Aging Series, the Multivitamin Series, Sports Series, and Professional Series. Regain your youth with the power of Astridian. Visit www.astridian.com and inquire. Use the code SUPERNATURAL and receive a 10% discount on your first purchase. Astridian, the beauty of being healthy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host, PK, the birthday girl. Happy birthday again, PK. And our tremendous guest tonight. We are transfixed and hanging on every word of our guest, physical medium Kai Muegge. He is here with us all the way from Germany, and we're just so grateful to have you with us, Kai. That was just an amazing, amazing explanation that you gave us. It's so much more than an explanation. It's real training in what we should be doing.
Definitely.
What a wonderful... Oh, my God, what a wonderful exercise you recommended to all of us.
It puts a spin on your head thinking of all the things that he had to tell us.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, thank you, ladies. I'm very happy that I achieved to bring that over.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, Kai. You know, to be a physical medium, obviously there's something special about you. What is it that allows you to have this type of a connection?
I can tell you that why ever it was written in my destiny plan that I was so very, very early into it. I am a natural out-of-body experiencer, and that began in my parents' house when I was around 5 years of age, or 5 years of age. I turned around in my bed and fell out of my body and wandered first through the house of my parents and met my sleeping parents and sleeping grandparents, talked with them, and the next morning they couldn't remember and claimed that I hadn't been in their sleeping room over the night. And so as a 4 or 5 years old, I had to figure out what was going on. And with the time, the concept was broadened, and I learned that the house was full of entities. Entities I, until today, cannot explain what they did in the house, but I encountered a lot of them, and some of them even frightened me. For example, there was an entity living in the cellar And this entity's existence, at least what I could see, was simply to move very quickly, very fastly from one spot in one cellar room into another cellar room. And this entity was moving so fast that I only could see him very much blurred. And that frightened me, and it still frightens me because I still see it before me. Or entities that suddenly appeared beside of me, coming seemingly from nowhere, and seemed to be caught in a form of time loop, in a kind of time loop or something like that. And then I learned I could leave the house. And places I read about in journals over the day, I could visit only by thinking of. And then when I was 11, I was gravely confronted with spirits that were intruding our three-dimensional world. It was in the household of my best school friends, school comrades of these days. The father was a photographer, and they had a big premises because they were doing the photography work there. And we youngsters were used to sleep there, sleep at friends' house, at least during the weekend. And they had a very, very powerful poltergeist disturbance case going on. And, I already had different concepts within me. I was not used to very much talk about it, but because of my experiences I had since I was 5, and that was at least 6 or 7 years already when the poltergeist experience was adding up. And then things fell into places. And with 12, I started to read the German literature about experimental spiritism, and until today, I am totally persuaded that was not a coincidence, that all happened that way. And when I was 15, I was founding my first experimental spirit circle for physical phenomena, respectively, for physical spirit contact. Oh, Skype is telling me we have a bad connection. Do you hear me?
Yes, we do. We hear you. You sound great.
Good. Okay. So, since I am 12, I am studying physical mediumship. Since I am 15, I am testing out every technique. I am bringing together people in circles. Over the years, there were 7 or 8 circles that lasted between months up to years. And then there was the Felix Circle, in which I developed for 11 more years. So basically, for 35 years, I am totally focused onto physical mediumship. And that is what makes me special. I am very much... I very much believe that what I am doing here, everybody else who would have exercised it 35 years, it could be in a comparable position. It is the trance exercise. It is the ability to exercise trance in a way. I am doing it in a genuine, deep trance routine in which you do totally separate from your bioform. Then, of course, a meditative work connected with trance work to get in contact with true spirit entities, to learn techniques to let your consciousness give you access to spirit guides, because they are there anyway. You only have to have your access to them. The subconsciousness is usually giving this access free, so there are practices you can do to have a spirit guide get accessible, so to speak.
Well, it's clear that you were really groomed for this, and again, this separation from your body that you got very used to at a young age, this astral travel and the separation going out of the body. You got very comfortable with that very young. But there's something else I noticed about physical mediums. Like if I look at you and I look at Robin, I see two men who have very strong bodies, big bones. You guys are strong, and I wonder, is that also part of it? To be a physical medium, do you need to have that kind of? Oh, you do? Okay. I wondered. It's very, very clear.
Good question,
Definitely.
Patricia.
Definitely. And that is the reason, there are several people who are demonstrating physical mediumship in their tradition. Probably you just have visited one of these, so to speak, colleagues of mine, and by evaluating what they are doing, you need to know that unfortunately in the classical English tradition, and the English tradition is reigning over the whole spiritualistic scene, and the most physical mediums would understand themselves as being part of that spiritualistic scene. And I don't like it either, but it is even traditionally that these jokes are being made. They explain it, that it is about the mood of the sitters, that the sitters are brought into a kind of easiness or something like that. So I understand that very well, what you have experienced and what you did not like so very much. This is exactly what I do not like as you. But what we did, we were independent in Germany, and we were opening our concepts holistically, and the English are oftentimes very, very much in their tradition, and that's not bad and that's not good. It is simply so. And we have opened our concepts, and meanwhile opening our concepts, our phenomena did massively change, and we have that interdimensional approach now in our seances, and the parts of the spirit world in which the deceased live. This is existing in our seances as well, but this is not the only and the dogmatically only content we are sharing with the people. The spirit world is so vast. Everything we can imagine and everything we cannot imagine is existing there. And back to your question in regards to the strong body, in my regards and in the case in regards to ectoplasm, this ultimate expression of strangeness in the experience of the human being with the supernatural, at least in an experimental frame, the volumes, the masses of ectoplasm we can produce in our sittings, and it's fascinating to see it. I have seen it on video now in its lively features, how it is moving and flexing and building forms lying in front of the medium on the floor. There are huge differences between the volume, the mass of ectoplasm that is exuding from the body. In my case, with my bigger and strong body, right, huge masses of ectoplasm are exuded. Meanwhile, some of the mediums who are much more slim than me, and probably a little bit more slimness would be healthy for me, but basically that is the reason behind. We have these massive amounts of ectoplasm, and the more slimmer mediums, they have fine strands of ectoplasm coming from their bodies. I mean, basically, both is amazing. If you are materializing a moving hand, that is in the end as fascinating as if you are materializing a whole spirit. As you may know, we already have achieved in our seances. The
You
full
have,
form,
and we've seen that.
yes,
Yeah,
the
it's
full
amazing. I
form
mean, now who is
materialization.
that? It's usually the same person, isn't it? It's a man with a beard. Who is that?
Oh no! These were several. We could not photograph them all. We only have a small. Yes, a small collection of photographs of a few of them, but we have mothers of sitters, or we had rock stars, or we had a prince from India from the 19th century, one of the ascended masters actually, even though we usually have no direct connections to the ascended masters, but he was appearing with a strong blue flickering light on his forehead, illuminating the whole room. He was floating above the ground, and this blue flickering crystal he had on the forehead was illuminating the whole room. Then we have Sir Henry Olcott materialized when Shannon Taggart was visiting us. Shannon Taggart, the famous photographer from Lilydale, and she's just publishing a book about seance room photography and spiritual photography. She's probably a very interesting guest for your show as well. Maybe you Google her somewhere, I don't know.
Yes,
Shannon Taggart, she was visiting us and she did photographs of our ectoplasmic extrusions and our ectoplasmic creations in 2013 in Lilydale, or near Lilydale. And since then, we have a strong bond. And I just talked yesterday to her, and she's just releasing this amazing book. She traveled around the world and was photographing let's say supernatural sessions of all sorts, from seances and basically seances all around the world in front of different traditions. So Sir Henry Olcott was materializing when she was there, when she was visiting us, because she is a documenter of the spiritualistic scene, and Olcott was a documenter of the spiritualistic scene as well. When he was writing for the New York Daily Telegraph, he was doing a big series over the Eddy brothers, for example, this famous series that became his book, People from Another World, a fascinating book. So he did materialize. Then John King did materialize, the famous John King that materialized with several physical mediums, Eusapia Palladino, for example. Or until today, John King communicates in the Sorat group of. Have you heard of the Sorat group in the States?
I have. Yes.
Yeah. So John King.
Let me ask you this. He also, I know that some of these entities appear to different groups. They don't just stay with one group. But when, for example, you're able to manifest a full spirit in a full spirit manifestation, do they speak also, or is it just the energy? It takes so much energy just to manifest them, so you get to see them, but you also hear from them.
So one of them, who usually my body speaks behind them. So the trance control speaks, not the entity itself, not the entity they brought through. So my body that is sitting behind the curtain is speaking. Meanwhile, the figure, the entity is showing, is stepping out of the cabinet.
Right.
One entity actually did at least one. I believe it was only one. I'm not so sure. I needed to ask Julia, my wife, who has a photographic memory about everything that is happening in the seance room. And there was an entity that appeared in an oriental in an Oriental clothing. It had a white turban, a big turban on the head, and a very Oriental-looking dress. And interestingly, this entity that looked so Oriental claimed to be a German researcher out of the heydays of spiritualism. And this entity actually talked itself. And the controlling spirits, they still claim that they work at it and want to have the entities speak, to have them speak themselves autonomously and step out into the room and give healing, actually. This is something we work towards too. We would like to have powerful healing guides materialize and actually give powerful individual healing to present
wouldn't that be great?
sitters.
That would be tremendous.
Incredible.
Oh my, yes. Now,
Unquestioned.
also, Kai, if you consider, because I know that the spirit world wants to expand the work that's being done, but clearly you're in Germany. I know you do. You and Julia travel quite a bit. But is it possible that when you do these sittings and seances in Germany, that you could also include those of us who'd like to participate via Skype?
Good question.
Yeah, we thought about that, and we are doing audio recordings a lot, and we are very happy when we are allowed to photograph or even take few film clips. But the spirit entities claim that during the session, the sitter is brought into a specific state, and that specific state that is connected with the specific being present in the seance and sitting in front of what the spirit entities are capable to bring through, that opens things subliminally in the consciousness, respectively subconsciousness of the sitters, and that what is spoken then by and overgiven content-wise, or what is verbalized by the spirits, that they do deliver code-like information in between the words, and that not only the sitter is receiving what he is understanding logically, but because of his openness, the spirits are able to insert informational anchors, so to speak, within the sitter as well. And when many sitters do approach us after the seance and say, I was so fascinated listening to the spirit, but after the seance I could not really recollect what was being said. Please give me a recording. And the spirits do forbid that. And they do forbid it because they say, the moment we give you the recording, your conscious mind would try to make something out of it. And the moment the conscious mind does it, your subconscious access is closed, so to speak. So what you have learned and what you have listened to in the seance has already reached deep layers within you. Even though you believe you might not remember it, it has reached deep areas inside of you. And there it is like a seed that is being planted there. And you may believe you cannot remember, but your behavior will change alongside what you have heard. Your subconsciousness remembers everything. There is no need to let you hear it afterwards from recording. The whole magic would be taken from it if we would allow that. And we believe that the seance room has to stay a sacred place. We cannot open it to Skype and let hundreds of sitters take part of it. It would be a kind of blasphemy to open this sacred space, and it is a sacred space, the seance room, specifically in regards of the neo-shamanistical view onto it. And this is also very unusual for the traditionalist spiritualist. The traditionalist spiritualist doesn't want to be compared with shamans or something like that. But basically what mediums are doing in this society is exactly what shamans did in tribal societies. And
well, I just had that thought because, again, I just had the thought of, what if you could open it up, and you could be particular about who you open it up to. You wouldn't have to open it up to hundreds of people, but maybe a few. I'm just saying that because, I sent you some photographs, and I know I've spoken about this on the air, that we've done some work on Skype. And I sent you the photos,
I remember these amazing photographs.
They're very strange. Right. And again, we were able to do that on Skype. So we're not in a seance room. We're not in the same place even, but we were able to contact these entities, and they were able to come through and show themselves, and it was quite amazing. So, that's where I'm thinking maybe at some point, maybe not today, but maybe in the future, there'll be some way that this technology can you can include other people that you handpick. Not necessarily you're going to open it up to everybody, but that you would choose.
Yeah,
maybe,
absolutely. That may be. That may be.
People. Because then again, it's helping to reweave that golden web of love that your spirit group is very invested in, and for good reason. So it's just a thought, and I'm basing that on the experiences that we've had, the photographs that we've been able to produce. And so I know that there's something there that's possible because there is, as you've said, there's no time and space. That's an illusion of ours. And certainly this technology is something that might open the door just a little further to people that might not be able to be present in your sacred space in Germany or Switzerland or anywhere in Europe that you are. It may be not attainable for some of the people here, but certainly you're the best in the world. So at what you do, and you and Julia have tremendous integrity in how you hold this for people. So it would just be something to consider, I think, later on maybe as you go forward, because what you're offering is something we can't find easily here in the United States. It's just you're not here enough.
Yes, I understand. And
good point.
And that's fully justified what you are being saying. But let me just mention, please, one more aspect. Even the efforts you have to take on your shoulders, or the efforts you have to take, maybe to travel a little bit to get to such a session. This will be rewarded a lot in the seance. If you only have to lay your legs on the table and switch the computer on, and you are in the seance, I know what you mean, and that is absolutely justified for an experimental thing or something. Unquestionably, we could invoke the entity's powers very probably in such a session, and I would be willing to do such sessions as I was willing to do combined mediumship sessions with other physical mediums. Most strangest things are happening then, I can tell you. So, and both is justified, and you have already referred to it in your correspondence. So let's talk about that in the future, if we can set up an experimental session of some sorts.
Oh, definitely.
That would be wonderful.
I'm very excited. Yeah, very excited about being able to work with you on this in a closed session first, and then see what can evolve. But the altruistic goal that you all have, you and your spirit team, is remarkable, and it would make such a difference for everybody. And I know you make a powerful difference for everybody that comes in contact with you and the work that you and Julia are doing. So it's just tremendous, Kai. I mean, just hearing you tonight on the air, my mind is spinning, and I'm thinking, how can we get Kai and Julia in front of more people? Because what you're offering is so pure and so powerful, and we all need to hear about it. That's the way I feel, anyways.
I have to agree with you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I promise you, if there is a venue somewhere in the future, you will be one of the first who will know. And I hope we will get you there then.
Oh, that would be great. It would be awesome. And I mean, I'm thinking you guys need to write a book. You need to, publish your own photos, because what you're doing is so incredibly remarkable, and it's to the benefit of everyone. I mean, this is truly a beneficial thing. This is not for show. This is not for entertainment. I mean, this is for true human evolution and bringing us all to a better place. Yeah, it's just remarkable what you've achieved, and certainly I agree, and I know you do too, PK, you were born to do this. No question about it. This is your talent. It's amazing. It's just great. Now, tell us also, because I know people in our audience do travel, and you're in Germany, but you are going to be making some trips. And is there some place where people can go to keep track of where you're going to be in case they want to attend a seance? Is there a website or a Facebook page? Where should they go?
And they should, in the first place, contact my wife, and then they would be figuring out what could be a place to come. We are in Scandinavia a lot. We will be back in Australia. We are a lot of times the year in Switzerland. We are giving here in Hanau, where the home base of the Felix Circle is. We are giving in the Felix Circle's bomb cellar or bomb shelter. We give seances. So there is a lot of thinkable venues, and a lot of Americans have us visited, by the way, in Switzerland, in Germany, in Norway. We regularly are in Norway, and Norway is always a place to visit because it is amazing. So Julia, because Julia has an overview where free seats may be available, because these sessions are very early outbooked, unfortunately.
So what I'll do is I'll get Julia's contact information on our Facebook page tomorrow, and then people can get in touch with Julia and see about attending a seance. If they're going to be traveling, they may be in Norway or Switzerland or somewhere where you both are, and it would be a prime opportunity. And I know our audience is very fascinated with what you're doing, so I'll make sure to publish that tomorrow. Well, Kai, again, we can't thank you enough for staying up so late and sharing this wonderful, wonderful, and powerful information with us this evening. Another
thank you so much.
Exciting show with you. Thank you so much. And thank you to Julia, because she was instrumental in making this happen tonight. So please give her a hug from us.
Indeed. I will. Thank you so much, PK and Patricia.
It was good to have you back again. Yes, thank you so much. And now next week, everybody, we're continuing with Spooky October, and we have one of our very favorite ladies joining us again, no other than Bloody Mary, Voodoo Queen. She's joining us from New Orleans next week. You don't want to miss that. So in the meantime, everybody, you take care of yourselves And until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural Girls.
Hey, PK, you still there?
Yep.
That was
Sure
amazing, huh?
He's fabulous. What a guy.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Life's got to be very interesting also.
Yes.
Very, very
yes.
good. Interesting.
I know.
Wish
I mean,
we could
it's
travel
like,
more.
I know. Wouldn't you love to see him here? My God, he and
Oh.
Julia, it'd be amazing. Just
There's so
amazing.
many people that we have on at different times that it would be so nice just to be able to show up at their space and place. Because even that, as we well know, would have a different effect than what we're doing now with added dimension.
God, yeah. It would be great.
Oh, get your traveling shoes on, kiddo. Let's hit the road.
I know. We got to do that.
Wouldn't that be
look,
fun?
In the meantime, you enjoy the rest of your birthday evening. Have a drink on me.
I'm going to hit the tub and go to bed. It has been a long couple of days. Yesterday was a whopper.
I know. Well, tomorrow we're going to do your session and get you all figured out, and it'll just be a continuation of your celebration. How's that?
I thank you, darling. You're so sweet.
Okay. Well, you enjoy your evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Yeah. Take care, hon.
Okay, honey.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Oh, thank you so much. Have a great night, honey. Bye.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.